Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, it's great to see you all here. Redfin just dropped their latest housing market update, and wow, houses are sitting longer on the market, plain and simple, a lot longer. In fact, they're on the market longer than they've been in the last 5 years. So it's taking, a lot longer to sell a home than it has really in recent memory for a lot of people. So if you've been in the housing market, over the last 5 years, homes have been flying off the shelf, but now they're definitely sitting longer. There's no doubt about it. And unfortunately, buyers are, for the most part, staying away. I mean, pending sales are still down nationally year over year. And in many locations throughout the US, pending sales are down. So demand hasn't really rushed back into the housing market yet. Um, and so, yeah, that's one of the things we're going to look at today. Anyway, my name is Jason Ferrier. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal all the Redfin housing market data that just came out earlier this week, and so what we're doing is we're going to look at the national picture from a data standpoint, and then we're going to review local markets that you all have requested. So I've got a list of markets here that people have requested on my YouTube channel over the last week or so. And then if you have a metro that you want me to analyze, put it in the comments and we'll get to it today. Unless I have too many to get to. So all right, let's get going. Anyway, I did say my name, but I'm a realtor and I'm an investor just outside of Columbus, Ohio, and I've been doing it now for about 7 years. And I love housing market data. That's why I guess I'm the housing nerd. So welcome. All right, who we have? Rick. What's up, Rick H? As a buyer, I'm sitting on my hands waiting for the bottom. A lot of people are. A lot of people are. Where are you at, Rick? What market you in? Let us know. Okay, and I'll get to these comments as we go along. So let's dive into this article. Now, the first thing, again, we'll do is look at this Redfin article, and they actually talk a lot about buyers having more power now in the market versus sellers. They're actually highlighting that, which I thought was good. Like, hey, they're actually acknowledging that buyers now have more power than sellers in a lot of markets. And remember, every market's different, but nationally, that's what we're looking at first. So they say good news, some good news for home buyers: slower price growth, more supply, and more bargaining power. You're going to see price growth is shrinking. The rate at which home prices are growing year over year is shrinking. And in some markets, it's actually fallen negative, but not too many yet. There's only 7, I think, out of the top 50 metros where home prices are lower than they were this time last year. But in Columbus, for instance, we're only up in the Columbus metro area. We're only up 1% year over year. So, we've been up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15% year over year for a while. Now we're only up 1%. So definitely a difference. There's no doubt. All right. So they go on in their article. The median monthly housing payment remains near record highs, but slowing price growth, declining mortgage rates, and a pileup of supply is giving home buyers in certain parts of the country room to negotiate. The median home price rose just 3.7% year over year during the 4 weeks ending February 16th. That's the smallest increase since September. Additionally, the weekly average mortgage rate dipped to 6.87. But we all know mortgage rates right now are just hovering in that 7% range, right? Like 6.95 I've seen this week, I think, to like 7.05. So they're right in that area. They still haven't dropped, anything meaningfully as far as, a lot of people are concerned. And then they talk about the typical monthly housing payment because it's actually the interest rates are actually lower this right now than they were this time last year. But monthly payments are higher because why? Well, house prices are higher. That's why. Home buyers have more total inventory to choose from. There are 5 months of supply on the market, up from 4.1 months a year earlier, and the most since 2019, except the 4 weeks ending January 26th. Supply is piling up because listings are rising while pending sales are falling. That's the key. Whatever market you're in, take a look at the new listings, take a look at the active listings, and take a look at the pending sales. If the pending sales or the closed sales, however you want to look at that, if that demand is dropping, but new listings are rising, one is going to assume that active inventory is going to rise and prices are going to fall or moderate. And that's what we're seeing. And that just is what we're seeing in a lot of markets, even in here in Ohio. Buyers have more new inventory to choose from too. New listings are up 4.2% year over year to their highest level for any comparable period in the last 3 years. So there's a bunch of more, there's more inventory on the street, more choices. That's good if you're a buyer, right? Like you want choices. Like, I mean, as a realtor, I remember the days when you take somebody into a house at like 10 a.m. for a showing, and then by like noon, the listing agent's calling you and telling you, hey, you got to get an offer in like by 3 because we already have 10 offers. And you're like, man, like my buyers haven't even had a chance to even like drive home yet and talk about it. And so now, at least with some choices, there's probably better decisions being made, hopefully, about houses. So that's at least my opinion, but I'm curious what you think. So let us know. Buyers have more negotiating power. The typical home is selling for 2% less than its asking price. That's the biggest discount in 2 years. Additionally, the typical home that sells is taking 57 days to go under contract, the longest span in 5 years. See, I told you. A slow market in which the typical home is selling under list price means buyers in many markets have the opportunity to negotiate on price and terms. I'm definitely seeing that. If you're a realtor, if you're listening to this, even on the replay, tell me if you're seeing that wherever you are in the market, even if you're not a realtor. Like, I have people now making offers with, repairs and definitely inspections. Obviously, they're not waiving any contingencies. And they're they're offering lower prices. The price house is listed at 400. They're coming in at 320, right? Nothing wrong with a disrespectful offer. Nothing at all. It's not, you're not going to go to jail if you make a low offer, right? Then it just says some markets are more buyer friendly than others. For example, the coastal Florida market's still tilting in buyers' favor, while sellers are generally in the driver's seat in some West Coast and Northeast markets. Additionally, these conditions may be short-lived as buyers come off the sidelines. Home touring activity is rising according to both showing time and Google data, and Redfin agents in certain areas report the house hunters are gearing up for the spring home buying season. I did look at the Google data and the touring data. More people are seeing houses than normal, or not than normal, than what they have over the last year or so. And Google searches for homes are up, but you'll see mortgage applications are not up. So it's not like a bunch of people are out there, applying for mortgages compared to last year. It's quite the opposite. It's like, I think it's down. So, that's not good, I guess, if you're looking for more activity. But I'm curious, now that we came to this point, I'm curious about Rick. Hey, Rick, you made a comment. You're in Tennessee. You're in Southwest Tennessee, but looking in the East Tennessee area and Winona, Minnesota. Can you believe I said that right? Winona. Yep, I've been to Winona many times. I used to visit Fastenal up there in my previous work life. So tell me, Rick, are you seeing more homes on the market for sale? Are you seeing prices drop? Tell us what you're seeing, Rick, in Tennessee. Curious to know. And then I got this comment from Booger Eater. That's awesome. Looking at older homes, I can't stop thinking about that name. Looking at older homes that are nice, that are being squeezed by new builds and cheaper, more affordable homes. Home cut 70,000 from 359. Looking at older homes that are nice, that are being squeezed by new builds. Oh, I see what you're saying. So there's a lot of new builds in your area, and that's dropping the price of existing homes. Is that what that's what I assume you're saying? That's a big price cut. Somebody needs to sell a house like now. If they cut it 70 grand from 359, that's a heck of a cut. Anyway, thanks for the comments. All right, let's keep going here on the article. Sorry, guys. If home needs work and it's priced too high, it's sitting on the market, said Cody Brownfield, a Redfin premier agent in Cincinnati, Ohio. That's when a buyer has bargaining power. But updated homes that are priced right, especially those located in desirable neighborhoods with highly rated schools, are selling quickly, sometimes for tens of thousands of dollars over asking price. It seems like every buyer's looking for the same type of house. A lot of buyers are looking for that unicorn, right? The house where move-in ready. Like here in Columbus or here in Central Ohio, it's like, hey, a lot of buyers are like, I want a house under 200 grand or right at 200 grand, move-in ready, in a great area with a great lot with garages and a man cave and like a great basement and dialed in. Okay, well that doesn't exist, right? Unless it really doesn't exist, unless it's a scam or something. So you have to really, when it comes down to it, it's like there are more options out there, but um, they're still selling power, I guess, or power is in the seller's favor in a lot of areas. Pending sales and listings are up in Los Angeles after the wildfires. We're going to skip that for now and just go down to the leading indicators. So these leading indicators are basically like an indication. This first section is like mortgage rates and buying demand. How are people doing with the actual demand of mortgages and applications and whatnot? So mortgage rate right now, 7.03% according to Redfin. That's based on Mortgage News Daily's latest data, I think as of February 19th. So again, right around that 7% range. Weekly average 30-year fixed mortgage rate, 6.87. If you average the days together, I guess you get 6.87%. Here's what I was saying about mortgage purchase applications. So they're down 6% from a week earlier, but I was wrong. Actually, they're up 7% from a year earlier. So mortgage applications, the number of people applying to buy a house or applying for a mortgage to purchase a house, that's actually higher than it was this time last year. So there is more activity, I guess, on the mortgage side, nationally anyway. Redfin Homebuyer Demand Index near a 6-month low. We know that. We don't really care about the Redfin's demand index. It's kind of like weird data. The touring activity, though, how many people are actually out there seeing homes? Up 13% from the start of the year. So more people seeing homes according to Showing Time, which is like the national database or app, if you want to call it, owned by Zillow, by the way, for showings. And so they're saying more people are seeing houses. Google searches for homes for sale. That's up 15% from a month earlier, up 8% from a year earlier. So more people typing in Google home for sale. I guess that's an indicator of more demand, I suppose, but could just be people maybe, like they say, gearing up for spring. All right, now we're going to look at the key housing market data. Now, this is for the top 400 metros. And what they do is they look at all the key data like active listings, median sale price, that type of stuff, but they're only aggregating it from the top 400 metros, which is really like the bulk of the housing market, right? As far as volume goes, probably. Median sale price. Everyone likes to look at the median sale price in the US. What is that number? 375, 475, according to Redfin. That's up 3.7% year over year. Again, stay tuned because in a few minutes, right after we're done with the national stuff, we're going to dive into local markets. And by the way, I always do Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati right off the bat. I always do those markets because people always ask for them. And then I have markets that you guys requested from YouTube. And if you have a market you want me to analyze, put it in the comments below and I will get to it today. Median asking price. How much are people actually asking for homes? 409,000. That's up 5.3% year over year. You'll see that in a graph in a minute when we look at the charts. There's no doubt people on average, I guess, or the median asking price is growing. And so that could be people listing more expensive houses for sale. It could be that people are just sellers maybe haven't got the memo yet that this isn't 2021 or 22 anymore. I don't know, but the median asking price is not falling. Median monthly mortgage payment, $2,750 at a 6.87% rate. Look at that. That's up 5.1% year over year, $32 shy of the all-time high. So right now, the average or the median, I guess I keep saying average, the median monthly mortgage payment is actually higher than it was this time last year. So it's not like the payments have gone down, but if you look back to if we go back up to the rate, you can see the rates are actually lower than they were last year. It's the price, folks. The price has continued to go up. That makes the payment higher, unfortunately. Pending sales, look at this. Holy Toledo, 71,454. That's just not good. Down 6.8%, meaning people in general just are staying out of the housing market right now compared to last year. Low pending sales, new listings, 79,969. That's up 4.2%. So look at that spread, right? There's a spread there of, call it 8,000 units. So it means we're actually growing inventory. We're not growing it a ton. It's not like it's 150,000 new listings, but you do have more new listings and pending sales, and that'll grow inventory. The danger here on both sides, let me tell you what you should watch out for in your local market. So if new listings are rising faster than pending sales, that means you're adding inventory. But if new listings don't really take hold and skyrocket this spring, and heaven forbid if pending sales start to rise, you're going to see an inventory squeeze again, and prices won't normalize. They'll just continue to go up, probably. If all goes according to plan with supply and demand, right? Active listings, 912,000. That's up only 11% year over year. Remember, we've came from the bottom. Like, we had historically low inventory nationally and in most markets over the last 3 years or so. Depends on what market you're in, but active listings have not been good. So they'll only be up 11%. That's fine, but not near what we need. Back in the GFC, we had in 2008, we had nearly around 4 million active listings. Yeah, sit on that. 4 million active listings on the market. Now you've got 912,000. So, yeah, that's a big difference between 2008. Months of supply, 5 months of supply. That's up 0.9 points. Basically, that means months of supply is how much supply do we have and how fast are we selling houses right now? How long will those houses last on the market if we don't add any more and we keep selling at our current pace, which is not a lot of sales? We have 5. And that doesn't mean that we're growing inventory exponentially. What that means is the houses that are on the market, a lot of them aren't moving as fast. And so that months of supply is building because demand is so bad. See how that works? Share of homes off the market in 2 weeks or less, 32.3%. We're going to skip down to median days on market. This is the big one, 57 days. That's the longest span since March of 2020, right when the pandemic hit, right? Everything went to a halt and homes were taking longer to sell. I mean, this is a big number to me, the fact that homes are sitting this long. They're probably a lot of times homes that people don't want, obviously, or they're priced wrong, or somebody would buy them, right? Pricing sells homes. That's what sells homes. Pricing. You can do all the marketing you want, unfortunately, as a realtor. And if you're not, if the price isn't right, the home's not going to sell. It's different than 2022, where you could be over your skis by 20 grand on a house here in Ohio and people would still make an offer. Now it's not like that. At least that's not what I'm seeing. Share of homes sold above list price, 21.2%. There's still people paying over list price for homes. Can you believe it? They are. Maybe if some of that is, hey, I'm offering more and I'm getting concessions, right? You see that with FHA a lot, right? Hey, I'll offer $105,000 on a $100,000 house. There aren't any $100,000 houses, but if there were $105,000 on a $100,000 house, and then I get $6,000 in concessions, right? So I'm putting that down payment into the payment, basically, is what I'm doing. I'm paying over asking, I guess, at that point. Average sale to list price ratio, they mentioned this in the article, 98%. That's down from 98.2%. All right. So let's go down to this just real quick. This is the 50 most populous U.S. metros and the biggest metros, or the metros that are winning and losing. So median sale price, where that's up the most. Look at this. Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, San Jose, Nassau County, New York, and Cincinnati, the nasty natty Ohio, all are up double digits year over year in median sale price. Metros with the biggest year over year decrease: Austin, Tampa, Jacksonville, Dallas, Atlanta. That's all in the southeast, right? All in the Sun Belt states. That's where the pain is right now. Florida, Texas, Louisiana. That's where all the pain is in the U.S. pretty much. Median sale price declined in just 7 metros. So out of the top 50 metros, 43 of those metros are up year over year in median sale price. Now, this number has been growing. I mean, I watch this like a hawk every week. It declines. We're at 7 metros with a decline in median sale price. That number is growing. I mean, over the last few months, it's been like one metro, two metros, and it's usually Austin. That's usually the metro. But now it's seven. So will that keep going? Maybe, probably, I would think. All right, pending sales, where are homes going into contract the most? San Francisco, Anaheim, Los Angeles, Milwaukee, Columbus. Look at that. We have more pending sales than we did last year. 3.4%. Time to celebrate. Not really. Miami, Houston, Jacksonville, San Antonio, and Atlanta are where pending sales are dropping the most. And it only increased. Look at this. Pending sales. Look at like the opposite of median sale price, right? Pending sales only increased in 7 of the top 50 metros, meaning 43 metros were down in pending sales. Buyer demand lower. New listings, where are homes hitting the market the most? San Jose, Phoenix, Los Angeles, Denver, Sacramento. Look at that. Like San Jose, new listings are up 27%. There's probably a lot of new listings in San Jose. Phoenix, 23%. Los Angeles, 21%. I mean, those are big numbers. Denver, 17%. Sacramento, 15%. Wow. Where are they down the most? New listings. Look at this. Detroit and Warren, Michigan. They're like both in that area, right, of the Rust Belt, I guess you want to call it, 21% and 10%. Like no new listings at all. Like people in Detroit must be like, not going to sell. We're just going to sit and wait. Newark, New Jersey down 8%, Jacksonville down 7%, and San Antonio down 7%. What confuses me about some of these markets is that Jacksonville and like San Antonio are supposedly like crash markets. A lot of people on YouTube think they are in crashes already. But there's like less new listings. And to me, new listings is a great indicator of like what's going on with the market. Because if there's a lot of new listings, it means, if there's a ton of new listings, like exponential growth in new listings, it could be there's a lot of distressed sellers. Like I got to sell, pull the fire alarm, got to sell today or I'm ruined. I'm not seeing that in like a Jacksonville or a San Antonio, as you would think. A lot of people thought, well, because of insurance and taxes, you'd see that. Not seeing it yet, I don't think. All right, now I was going to do these charts, but what I'm probably going to do is just take a couple comments here, and then we'll get to the metros you guys want me to analyze. That's usually the good stuff. All right, Booger Eater, what's up? To be more specific, people around here that are looking at 300,000 are buying new builds because of concessions were older. In my opinion, nicer homes are suffering because they can't offer comparable concessions. Yeah, there are a lot of great builder incentives right now, depending where you live. And where are you, Booger Eater? Where do you live? What's the market you're talking about? I'd like to know. What's up, Rick? Jason, Ken, I get your thoughts on buying a home that my daughter wants with my VA benefits and letting her assume the lower interest rate loan. I'm at retirement age. Buying a home that my daughter wants with my VA benefits and letting her assume the lower interest rate loan. Rick, yeah. So let's do this at the end. I'll come back to this, Rick, and answer this question because I want to keep rolling with the metros, but that's a great question. The one thing I would ask you though, are you talking about it's a home she's looking at that already has a VA loan that that she wants to assume? Or are you saying you're selling her your house with a VA loan? I assume she's looking at a house that has a VA loan now, and you're asking if it's a good idea if she assumes that. So yeah, we'll talk about that more at the end, but let me know if that's what you mean. And I don't think I'll need the benefits in the future. Yeah, let's look at that at the end. But thank you. That's a great question. All right, let's get to these markets. So I'll do Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati first. And then the other ones I have today on the docket. Again, you guys requested this from my YouTube channel over the last couple of weeks. I've got Ada, Idaho. It's a county in Idaho. I've got Auburn, New York, Detroit, Michigan, St. George, Utah, Sarasota, Florida. And then, of course, I've had a lot of requests for the Maryland, Virginia, DC market. A lot of people want to know what's happening there. All right, so let me get to, oops, didn't want to do that. All right, so here's the weekly Redfin data, and anybody can go to this. Like if you want to see what's happening in the housing market, wherever you are, you can go here too and look at the same data. Let me make it a little bigger here for everybody. All right, let's start with Columbus. And that's where I am. So that I'm analyzing this one. I get a lot of requests for my hometown. All right. So new listings in Columbus, Ohio, up 2.2% year over year. So there's definitely more new listings in Columbus, but there's not a ton. It's not like we're exploding with inventory. And that's probably good in a way, if you're a seller, because there is, I guess, like a feeling of constrained supply still in the market, but that's quickly changing. I think a lot of people are starting to wake up that, hey, there's a lot more new listings out there. Active listings in Columbus. How many homes are on the market to sell? Look at this. It's a 4-year high right now in Columbus, up 13% year over year. So definitely more new listings, but not a ton. We're not up like exponentially. Should be interesting to see how this rolls in the spring. All right. The other thing I'll look at real quick is pending sales. So how are pending sales doing? Homes going into contract. This is kind of a pain to look at sometimes because of the way the charts are designed. Up 3.4%. We know that from the article. Pending sales in Columbus. So a little more people buying homes than last year, but it's not insane amount of demand. All right, now let's look at median sale price. Actually, let's do median days on market. Look at this median days on market for CBUS. 59.2 days on market to actually go into contract on a home. That's according to Redfin data. I think the Columbus Board of Realtor data shows 51 days, but this is a 4-week average. That's what Redfin's using. Columbus Board of Realtors uses like a month, a snapshot. This is a 4-week rolling average on Redfin, but that's up 14 days. So right now it takes 14 days longer in CBUS to sell a home than it did this time last year. 14 days. That's a big time difference. The moral of the story there is, if you're a seller, you better wake up to the fact that you need to be more realistic about your price, and you need to be realistic about the time frame. If you put a home on the market like March 1st and think it's going to be in contract and out the door by April 15th, I wouldn't plan on that. I'd plan on more like 60 days, because depending on what neighborhood you're in or what your price point is, it could sit longer. That's what this is showing us. And it's a 4-year high, by the way. By far a 4-year high in days on market in Columbus. All right, median sale price. 1%. We're only up 1% in Columbus. It's threatening to go underneath last year. And if you look at the charts for Columbus, we haven't gone under the previous year in a while. Look at that. Every line you can see on this shows higher than the next year with no variance, right? It's not like you're going underneath the previous year at all. That means that prices have continued to grow. We actually peaked in Columbus at 353 back in June, July of last year, and we ended last year at 328 grand. Now we're 317 grand, and we're threatening to go underneath last year's number. There's no doubt. I think at some point you've just priced people out of the market. Like at some point, people can't afford to buy the home. And so that's a combination of probably, obviously, price and interest rates. I think a market like Columbus, if you drop interest rates enough, people will just run back into the market and start buying again, because homes are relatively affordable, right? We're not at $800,000. At least that's my take. I'm curious to hear what you think. All right, that's median sale price. Now let's do Cleveland, Ohio. And we're doing new listings in Cleveland. How are they doing? They're down 3.4%. So in Cleveland, you've got less new listings than you did this time last year. I don't know how that's possible, but you do. And I bet their inventory is lower too. Let's look at their inventory. I bet it is. Yeah, look at this. This is like not even, it's not cool on any level. Down 4% in Cleveland, Ohio. So I mean, you have less inventory than you have. It's almost a 4-year low. The only year you had more inventory right now was 2022. That was barely more. So I don't know, man. That's I guess because the house prices are so low there. I assume that's why. But people aren't listing and people are still buying, it looks like. Let's look at pending sales. How are they doing? Pending sales are down 11%. So it's like nobody listing, nobody buying, just like a frozen market. You're seeing that in a lot of the US. And it has been super cold here. Like this winter's been pretty rough in Ohio. Cold and snowy consistently. And don't worry, I'll get to your comments here in a couple minutes and the market you want me to analyze. So we did pending. Now let's do days on market. Median days on market in Cleveland, Believeland, 40 days, up 1 day. Basically the same as it was last year, how long homes are sitting on the market. This is median sale price now in Cleveland. Yeah, look at this, up 10% to 210 grand. Yes, you can still buy a house for $200,000 approximately with a team, with an NFL team. Yeah, unreal, right? 210 grand. That's up 10% though year over year. Cleveland peaked at 247 back in last summer and then ended last year 229. Now you're at 210,000. Doesn't show any sign of crashing in Cleveland as far as prices go. All right, now let's do Cincinnati, the nasty natty Cincinnati. All right, new listings in Cincinnati. What do we got? 2.5% year over year increase in new listings. So a little bit more new listings, but not like it's not 10, 15%. But their active listings in Cincinnati are crazy. Like they've got a ton of inventory compared to last year. Look at that, 41% more active listings in Cincinnati versus this time last year. Man, so the sales, like pending sales, must be dismal. I can only assume based on that. What are pending sales? Oof, I got to get rid of this line here to be able to see it. Down 2.6%. So yeah, like Columbus is up in pending sales. Cleveland is down a little, but Cincinnati is down 2.6%. And I mean, if I look back at in Cincinnati, if I go back to 2024, this line, this orange line, you can see it really never really gained any traction last year. At one point, look at that, down 23% last year. At one point, they were down 14% in pending sales. So it's hard to, it's hard to have price growth. It's hard to have a market that churns inventory if pending sales are so low. It's crazy. That's maybe why active listings are so high in Cincinnati. There's a ton of inventory. All right. So let's do median days on market. In Cincinnati, look at, wow, 52 days. That's up 30 days from last year. 30 days. So homes are definitely sitting longer in Cincinnati. Jeez. Man, there must be homes on the market for, you see that days on market creep past 100, 150, 200. It's like, man, people just leave the home on the market. All right, now let's do median sale price in Cincinnati. 289 grand. That's up 11% though. So I guess the homes that are selling, people aren't discounting them too much. Maybe it's just a bunch of bad inventory. I am seeing a lot of like houses in Columbus that are like half flipped, right? Like the investor thought, hey, I'm going to buy in Franklinton and make like a bunch of money, or I'm going to buy in like the Hilltop or Linden or, Old Town East. And then reality sets in and they're like, uh-oh, the market changed. And now they have to pull the ripcord. Their debt rate goes up. And next thing you know, the house is now half finished and they have to sell it. And it's in a condition that nobody wants it. Maybe on a street nobody wants to buy. So I am seeing that a lot. Maybe that's happening in Cincinnati. Okay, let's do the next one. I've got Ada, Idaho, which is, it's actually, I'm going to go to a county level on Redfin here and look at Ada, Idaho. Ada County, Idaho, which I believe is that Boise, Idaho? It may be. Let's do new listings in Ada, Idaho, down 9%. Wow. Okay, so a lot less new listings in Ada County, Idaho. Active listings. Wow, down 27%. 27%. You have like no, you're like a Cleveland situation. It's like no active listings compared to last year. Pending sales. 147, that's down 2.6%. So just no activity. All right, let's do median sale price. Median sale price up 3%, 516 grand. It shocks me how expensive places like Idaho are. Like Montana, I looked at some areas in Montana recently and Wyoming, Idaho, they're expensive. Utah, that's expensive. I mean, comparatively, I guess, to the Midwest. Yikes. Okay. Auburn, New York. We're going to go to the metro level and go to Auburn, New York. New listings in Auburn. What do we got? 42% higher than last year, but you only have 10 new listings. So I would, this very small sample size, I'm not sure that that's going to help us much in a market like Auburn, New York. Let's look at active listings now. Active listings in Auburn, New York, 6.5% year over year increase. So you have a little bit more new list or active listings than last year, only 114 active listings. Geez, that is kind of a small market. Let's just look at median sale price now. I'm not sure it's going to help us much. $179,000. Wow. That's an inexpensive market, 1.66% up year over year, but the sample size is small. I'm not sure that helped you out much in Auburn, New York. I would get with the realtor and have them pull local market info because I don't know, that sample size was super small, only 100 and some active listings. Detroit, Michigan is next. Detroit, Michigan, new listings. Oh, you know what I did? I got to go back to Auburn. Sorry, this happens on lives. I looked at new listing median price, not median price. Yeah, median sale price $213 going back to Auburn, New York, 29% year over year increase. Sorry for that error. I looked at the wrong metric before. So that's your median sale price according to this data on Redfin. All right, now I'll do Detroit. A lot of requests for Detroit. New listings in Detroit, Michigan. 21% down. Jeez. Just a frozen market, man. Pending sales. What are those doing in Detroit? Down 9.7%. Nobody listing, nobody buying. People are like, the housing market, we don't want to pay attention to that right now. That's fine. That's fine. Active listings down. Look at this. In Detroit, down 2%. So you have less houses hitting the market, less people buying houses, and less active inventory. Yeah, just a frozen market. If you're like a realtor or a title agent or mortgage person, photographer in real estate, probably inspector, home inspector, probably seeing the same thing, right? You're just seeing slow market. All right, let's do median sale price in Detroit. Median sale price, $172,000, up 5% year over year. Okay. So you are having home price growth, but man, the market is so stagnant that nothing's probably going to change for a while unless you add a lot of new listings. There's some more churn in the market. I can't believe the median sale price is only 172 grand in Detroit. That's low. I mean, you dang near have to buy, if you're going to do like a flip, you have to buy the house at like 5 grand to make any money really, because you're probably going to have to put $100,000+ into the house, right? A lot of older homes. Jeez. Okay, let's do the next market. That is Utah, St. George, Utah. I can't believe how expensive homes are in St. George, Utah. I always look at that. In St. George, Utah, median sale price, 508 grand. Wow. That's crazy. How about new listings in St. George? What do we got? Look at this straight up 23% higher than last year. Man. So in St. George, maybe you have a lot of distress selling. I'd imagine there's a lot of people that bought in Utah. I can only assume this based on the comments from my channel. A lot of people bought in Utah from the pandemic era, right? Like, hey, I want to move. I'm like I live in California. I'm going to move out to Utah to buy a house, and they're looking at a house going 500,000. That's like nothing. So if I'm from LA, it's like, oh, no big deal. So they just keep bidding up the price. Maybe eventually they figure out, oh, Airbnb is not all it's cracked up to be. This luxury Airbnb I bought is an alligator, negative cash flow, not going to work. So they put it on the market. That's a big assumption on my end, but new listings are straight up. That would tell me maybe there's some distress there. Let's look at pending sales. Pending sales down 4%. So you have less pending sales, a lot more new listings. What about active listings? Have we looked at that yet? Look at active listings. 20% growth year over year, a 4-year high in St. George, Utah. So I like this chart because it illustrates that you could see new listings go up exponentially, pending sales decline, and now active listings are starting to rise. I got to think at some point that's going to take hold to prices. So I'll have to come back to St. George here in a few months and see what, for a few weeks, whatever, and see if there's a change there. All right, next is Sarasota County, Florida. That's what somebody else requested. Sarasota County. And I will get to your comments. I will get to the other request. I'm just working through the ones that folks had asked for before. New listings in Sarasota County, Florida. Now, I would think that there's a lot of distress there. You got to think there is, right? What's weird to me is that new listings are only up 5%. So like if there was a lot of distress there, new listings would be skyrocketing, you'd think, right? Again, people having to sell their homes. I'm not seeing that. How are active listings? But active listings are up a lot. Look at that, up 18%. So that's a pretty big sample size, 6,900. It's a 4-year high by far as far as active inventory. I had somebody comment last week and tell me that in Sarasota, they're seeing a lot of like investors that abandoned their houses, couldn't make it work. So they had to cut and run. And then also a lot of distressed houses that need a ton of work, right? Maybe from storms or whatever. And those are on the market. So maybe it's not inventory people really like. All right, let's look at median sale price. Oh, that's new listing price. Median sale price in Sarasota County, Florida, $437,000. That's down 4% year over year. So you're definitely lower than last year. There's no doubt. And what's weird about Sarasota County is if you look that they peaked then last year, 496 grand. It looks like they may have peaked in December of last year. No, they peaked in 2023 at the end of 2023 at 500 grand. They were up 12% at that point. They actually ended last year at 468 grand. So prices are definitely down in Florida. I mean, that's off what? 496, 437. Yeah, so call it 60 grand from peak, it looks like. Definitely a difference. Completely different than the Midwest, right? Completely different. All right, Maryland, Virginia. That's the next one. A lot of people have been asking me for the DC area because of all these layoffs, right? I would think it's going to take longer than a couple weeks or whatever to see any type of real problems. But again, the key is the inventory. That's what you want to look at. So inventory is up only 4.8%. Unfortunately, I've seen videos and other people on YouTube and even in the media say, and on Twitter say, hey, DC inventory is exploding. Well, if it is, it's not here anyway, because this is only up 4.8%. So new listings are only up, a little bit. What about active listings in DC? How are those doing? Look at active listings, only up 7.75%. So they're not up a ton either. We'll have to see how this rolls over the next few weeks. Let's look at pending sales there. Well, pending sales are really low though, down 10%. So if that continues, and even if you're at only adding 5%, right, new listings, and your pending sales, as long as those remain down, your active listings will increase. All right, let's do median sale price in DC. What's that doing? Well, it hasn't crashed yet. It's actually 535 grand, up 1% year over year. They peaked last year at 596 and ended last year at 548. Okay. They were up 5% at the end of last year. So far, hasn't translated into prices yet, at least sale prices. But again, maybe it's too soon to see that info. All right. Now, let me get to some comments. Then I'll get to the markets you guys requested today on the screen. Let's see. Let me just scroll back to the top here. All right. Sorry, I'm just checking these. I want to make sure I get all the markets. Somebody asked for Indianapolis. Okay, let's do Indy. That's kind of near me. Indianapolis. You know what? Let's do Indianapolis. New listings in Indianapolis. What do we got? Only up 3.2%. I'm sorry, down 3.2%. My fault. Down 3.2%. So definitely less new listings. That's just disappointing if you're hoping for inventory. And you know what's weird? I don't know if any of you follow Melody Wright on YouTube, but she was just saying that Indianapolis inventory has exploded. I'm trying to find that right now. Like some of the stuff she says, I'm like, what data are you looking at? New listings are down. Active listings are down, or not. They're not down. They're only up 5.42%, but they're headed down. I mean, it's not like 40% more active listings in Indy. I don't know. I'm trying to find out where all this distress is in Indianapolis that I hear about. So we did that. Now let's do pending. See what we got. Pending sales down 7%. Well, you have a little bit of, you're down. Sorry, you're down in new listings. You're down in pending sales. You only have 5% in active listings. I'm trying to find out where all this distress is. Let's look at median sale price. Maybe the sale price has crashed, huh? No. What in the what? If any of you guys, I think she's in Tennessee. So if anybody knows Melody, ask her like, what's up with this? Why say Indianapolis is crashing? $292,000 in Indianapolis, up 4%. Last year they peaked at 321 in Indy. Ended the year at 304, up 8%. And you can see like basically last year never dropped below the previous year. That's very similar to what's happening like in Columbus, where it's just steadily has gone up and up and up and up. Man. All right, so that's Indy. I hope that helped. All right, another one is Colorado. Where in Colorado? Denver? Is that where you want? Is Denver, Colorado? The first house. Appreciate your content. Oh. Oh, Dan, I just okay, this guy, Dan, he asked for Auburn, New York. I did that, but the sample size was really small. So I did that on previously just a few minutes ago. Hope you caught that. I'm moving from Austin to Northwest Arkansas. I've been watching the Arkansas market for months now. House is going pending almost instantly. Okay. But hey, back to this, and I'm not the best on these lives sometimes with my flow, but Colorado, Kane, what area in Colorado do you want me to look at? Tell me. Let me see if the heat turned it. Yes, Denver. Denver. Okay. Let's do Denver, Colorado. I always like looking at Denver. New listings in Denver, Colorado. What do we got? Up 17%. Definitely more new listings. And look at that chart. Every year, it's like follows the same pattern, right? I guess people come out of the cold, even though it's beautiful there in the winter too, but they come out of the cold, then they go down new listings. But yeah, you're up 17%. So definitely have more new listings. 4-year high. Let's do active listings in Denver. Wow, you're up 32% in Denver for active listings. Jeez. Are you seeing a lot of houses on the market, Kane, in Denver? I imagine you are. All right. Let's do pending sales. Pending sales in Denver down 9%. It's a 4-year low in Denver. So yeah, you've got a lot more active, a lot more new listings, a lot lower pending sales, active listings going up. I would imagine prices there must be suffering, right? Got to think they are. They're not yet. Look at that. 579 grand, still up 3% year over year. But man, this chart's all over the place. Look last year, how it was just up and down. You actually peaked in Denver. There are a lot of metros out in the US where you peaked at you peaked in 2022. This one is the same, 617 grand, up 18% year over year. So back in 2022, houses median house price 617. Now that number 579. So definitely off of peak. And last year you ended the year at 573. So unreal. I mean, house prices there look like they continue to go up. Let us know, Kane, if you're seeing lower prices in your neighborhood or whatever you're looking at. I don't know if you're looking to buy or you're a seller or investor or whatever. But yeah, let us know what you're seeing with prices, because this says prices haven't crashed yet. I mean, I guess you could consider it a crash if like the peak was back in 2022 at 617 and then now it's 579. You definitely lost out if you bought at the peak back in 2022. So is that a crash? I don't know. I guess it depends on what your definition of crash is. What else do we got here? So I hope that helped. What else we got? Idaho. We already did Idaho. What's this one? Oh, this is the New York guy. Yeah. What area? Arkansas. Hey, somebody's moving to Arkansas. I'm moving from Austin to Northwest Arkansas. I've been watching Arkansas market for months now. What area of Arkansas? I'd like to know. And Austin prices compared to Arkansas must be vastly different, I would think. All right. Any other markets you want me to analyze? Let me know. Springdale, Arkansas. Okay. I wonder if that's in here. Let's look. No, probably too small, maybe. What county is Springdale in? We can do that. Tell me what county it's in without me looking. I could look it up, but I'm kind of lazy. Utah is boring. Maybe it's boring, but the house prices there are ridiculous. I just can't believe how high they are. What about Tennessee? Let me look at Tennessee while we're doing this too. You said Eastern Tennessee. Anything like what area specifically in Eastern Tennessee? What county or what metro can I put up here? Washington County, Arkansas, for Dan. Let's look at Washington County, Arkansas. I don't know what kind of data they'll have for it, but let's find out. Washington County, Arkansas. I have been to Bentonville a few times. My previous life calling on Walmart. All right. Let's do new listings. Then we'll do the price last. In Arkansas, Washington County, Arkansas. Year over year, you're up 2%. It looks like it hasn't changed a whole lot each year. like I mean, there's not a huge sample size, but every year it looks like, and new listings are dang near the same, or not a huge variation there. Active listings in Arkansas. You're at a 4-year high in active listings, though. Look at that, up 11%. I think you said that you're seeing house prices drop. So, yeah, I would assume if active listings are like that, it's a 4-year high. Let's do pending sales. Pending sales up 16%, but again, the sample size isn't huge. Um, still though, you are up in pending sales. It looks like some people are buying homes. And now let's do median sale price in Arkansas. Down 1%. Nope, that's median days on market. Oh, well, we can do that while we're here. Down 1 day, median days on market, 36 days. So that's about how long it's taken. Not too long, actually, compared to the national number. Look at prices. 346 grand. Wow, it's expensive there. That's up 3% year over year. So it looks like you peaked last year at 361 in Washington County, Arkansas, and you ended the year at 350,000. And now you're at 346. So you're almost at the peak. You're getting there. But I think you said you're seeing prices drop, right? So that could be. Chattanooga. Let's find out what's happening there. It's not playing nice with me here. Oh, yeah. So what county is that in? Tell me what county that is in, and I can pull it up. Chattanooga, Tennessee. What county? I don't know that off the top of my head. Yeah, tell me that. Let me go back to this question though from Dan, I think it was, about VA loans. Or was it? Oh, it was Rick. Okay. You asked about this VA loan, assuming this VA loan. She wants to buy a home. I can buy that home with my VA, then sell it to her and let her assume the loan. Yeah, that's interesting. So I guess I'm not a mortgage professional. Like, that's not my bag, is being a mortgage person. So um I would say that you should probably connect with, obviously, a mortgage professional to make sure that what you're doing with the VA loan isn't going to throw you into a massive problem. But I mean, assuming a loan, especially if it's your loan, it's going to be a lot easier. Assuming loans, period, right now isn't easy. It takes a long time, generally speaking. Um, I've tried to do it a few times recently with buyer clients, and it hasn't worked out well. But they weren't related to the person, and that helps a lot, probably, because you can move the process along a lot faster because it's your daughter. But if you can assume a lower rate loan, it could make a lot of sense. It could, definitely. But I guess if you're buying a loan now, yeah, I guess you're buying a loan now on a VA is probably the interest rate's a lot lower. But I would get with a mortgage professional. I'm sorry, Rick. I don't. I'm a realtor and investor, but I don't. I'm not a mortgage expert, so I would definitely get with somebody who knows VA loans very well and ask about all the pitfalls and what could potentially happen if you know execute your plan. But it sounds like an interesting plan, and I think overall VA loans are awesome. And by the way, thank you for your service. Appreciate it. Okay, let me go back here and look at this county level. Hamilton County, Tennessee. That's what I wanted. Hamilton County, Tennessee. New listings in Hamilton County. 122 new listings. I thought there would be more, but that's down 13%. Call it 14%, rounding up. So in Chattanooga, Tennessee, it looks like you've got a lot less new listings than last year. But again, the sample size is pretty small. Let's look at active listings now. How are you doing on inventory? You were up 11%. You've got 1,600, it says, active listings right now in the county. It's a 4-year high. So think about it from a standpoint of back in 20. I mean, look at this number. Back in 2022, you had 1,000 homes for sale. Now you've got 1,600 homes for sale. That's a big difference, right? A lot more active inventory. And that's what you need. You need that. I'm sure if you're wanting to buy something, you just want more choices. Pending sales. Look at that. Holy Toledo, down 16%. You got to be kidding me. In pending sales, 4-year low. So you definitely have more active inventory, less people buying homes. I wonder how the price is doing. It's kind of all over the place, but you're up now 10%, 376 grand. Man, that's pretty affordable, I guess, comparatively to a lot of other areas. Median sale price, you peaked 398 back in summer of 2024 last year, and you ended last year 373, up 5%. So you could see median sale price really didn't come underneath the previous year at all last year. It just kept going and going and going. And now you did come underneath 2024 one time a few weeks ago. But I mean, that's, what's going to happen with ups and downs, obviously, in a market. But now you're at 376. It doesn't look like the median sale price is completely fallen off the map. It just looks like it continues to go up. Yeah. So that inventory shock, I guess, of the market hasn't taken effect. We are seeing that in a lot of areas where maybe homes that are listed just aren't homes people want, right? They're just like people wish price it. Like my neighbor, I'm sure you see this in your markets. My neighbor listed their home and sold it, let's pretend, for 450 grand. Well, my home's better than my neighbor's, so I'm going to list it for 470. By the way, everybody thinks their home is better than their neighbor's. Everybody. Rarely do I meet somebody that says, nah, my home's not that nice. Everybody has reasons why their home should be more. And so then they list it for 470 and they think, well, this is my wish price. If I don't get it, I'll just take it off the market, but I'm not going to discount it because I don't really need to sell it. I'm just hoping I sell it. Like throwing a line in the water. Horrible idea, unless you just want to waste your time, the realtor's time and buyer's time, right? So it's better to just price the home where it'll sell versus what you hope to get for it. But that may be what you're seeing are just people, actively putting their homes on the market, but they're not very serious about selling them and they're way overpriced. And so they just sit there, but the ones that are selling are driving up the median sale price. Speculation on my end, but that's a lot of times what I see. All right, what else do we got? Springdale, we did that one. Any other metros at all? No other metros? Usually you guys have a lot of them. You keep me on here forever. I'm getting off easy today. I did Indianapolis. I did that one. Oh, yeah, Booger Eater mentioned that, or sorry. I'm just trying to get through these comments. No other ones, huh? Okay. That's cool. Well, I'm going to pick one. I'm going to pick one. Pick one more here. Let's see. What do we want to do? Let's do Los Angeles because of the wildfires. Let's find out what happens in Los Angeles. So Los Angeles, what do we got? What time is it? 10:04. 21% increase in new listings in LA. Man. So maybe people listing their homes because of the fire and they're destroyed. I don't know. I'd love if an agent would let me know what they're seeing on the ground level there. Pending sales in LA. How are they doing? They're up 7.4%. People are buying there, no doubt. But how about active listings? Active listings, man, they're headed down. They're only up 8% in LA. Not a ton of, doesn't look like a ton of distress there. Just doesn't. Overall, according to this data. What about median sale price in LA? Man, look at that. Up 3%, 879,000 in LA. Last year they peaked at 932 and they ended the year at 903. So LA doesn't look like it's crashing, at least not yet. That's pretty interesting. Let's look at, while we're over there, let's look at San Fran, because I think San Fran actually has some distress in it from a new listing standpoint and activity. What do we got? New listings in San Francisco down 0.5%. Unreal. Again, I thought there would be a lot more distress, but there's not. There's just not. Look at this. It's a 4-year low in active listings in San Francisco Metro. Let me just double check my screen to make sure that's accurate. It is down 10% in active listings. Who would have thought? Like, again, a lot of people, I hear it all the time. It's, and then I write down what they said and I go back and look at this data and I'm scratching my head going, where is this information? Like, where are they getting this? They say stuff like San Francisco is suffering because of the tech layoffs. Okay, maybe so, but they're not listing their homes at least. They can't be that, distressed yet. You think if your house payment was probably $10,000 a month, I'm sure that's what they're looking at out there on house payments, 10,000, 15 grand a month. I mean, you're definitely, if you don't have a job, you're going to sell your home. Doesn't seem like that's happening. Median sale price. I mean, it's up 5% year over year. Are you sitting down for this? Everybody, we've been talking about Detroit, Arkansas, New York, Auburn, New York, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Columbus, Cleveland. Like, no offense to us, but like those are like flyover states, right? Like middle of nowhere, generally speaking, cheap, right, to live there. Here's the median sale price in San Francisco, $1,434,000. What? They peaked in 2022 at $1,622,000. And they ended last year at $1,360,000. So the price there looks like it's headed up. Will they beat 2022? Probably not. But it doesn't look like it's crashing yet in San Francisco. Nuts. Pretty shocking. Oh, we got a request for Nashville. All right, let's look at Nashville. Nashville's another area, right? People like, hey, doom is here. Everybody who lives in Nashville's doomed. Like that's where distress is going to show itself and the market's going to crash and it's going to be like 2008 levels of the, pain. I don't know. Let's find out. New listings are up 9.5%. Okay. So you got more new listings. That's good. If you're looking to buy, active listings, 4-year high, up 13% since last year. It's a 4-year high in active inventory. What else we got? Pending sales. How are they doing? Pending sales down 4.9%. So there could be distress in Nashville. Some of the largest houses I've seen in my life are in Nashville. Like, I thought Texas had the largest houses. I don't know. Nashville has some of the nicest, largest houses. Nobody I know, just driving through it, I was like, man, these houses are crazy. But maybe people are just tapped out, right? You've hit a ceiling. Median sale price in Nashville up 3% year over year, though, $452,000. Nashville's expensive, relatively, compared to the areas around it, right? 452 grand. So it hasn't crashed in Nashville yet. And last year you peaked at 480 and ended the year up, not down, up 2% to $458,000. So, everything's very localized, obviously, like down to a subdivision level, or maybe like a school district level, depending on if you live out in a rural area or not. But overall in Nashville, it doesn't seem like there's a ton of distress there yet. There are more active listings, but that hasn't translated through to the price. Okay. Thought that was telling. All right, I'm going to do one more. And if anybody has a suggestion on a metro you want me to analyze, put it down. and I'll jump on it now. But I'm going to look at one more here. I'm going to look at Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas. What do we got in Austin? New listings are actually down 4.1%. So, again, I would think there were going to be a lot more new listings because of the distress that's supposed to be there. But I'm looking. I'd like to see it in the numbers. They are a 4-year high in active listings, though, up 6.62%. How about pending sales in Austin? Oh, man. In Austin, what do we got for pending sales? Down 11%. So, yeah, maybe people are tapped out there too. Prices are too high still. Pending sales are low. And you do have inventory growth. There's no doubt. Median sale price. This is really interesting to look at. Look at that chart, folks. In Austin, completely different than every other metro, right? Completely different. Like median sale price, look at that, down 5% year over year. But look how far it fell from the peak. Look at the peak in Austin, 574. At that point, it was up 24% year over year in prices. And then it fell off a cliff. The prices did. Look at that. Down, 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 way down. And then that was 22. And then the blue is 23. Blue started lower than 2022. And then basically went sideways all year, but ended the year in 23 down 2%. Then it started 2024. That's in the orange, down 4%, continued to go sideways where it ended up at 453. And they started the year in Austin actually flat, but now they're down from last year, down 5% to 420. So that difference, 574 to 420, that's 150 grand if my math's right. Basically $150,000 difference in home price. Now, if you're talking about $1.5 million market, not a huge deal. Like that's 10%. But if you're talking about, yeah, a market where home prices are 550, 600 grand, $150,000 drops, big. So you could basically say that Austin has crashed already and it's continuing to go down. I'm going to go back to active listings there because that's kind of the canary in the coal mine, I guess you want to call it. So active listings back in 2022. Look at this. You had 4,186. And then look at it skyrocket. And I think this probably coincided to the increase in interest rates. When the Fed started bumping interest rates and mortgage rates went straight up, active inventory went straight up in Austin, it looks like very tied to it, right? And then you saw people obviously list their homes like crazy. Let's look at new listings. Yeah, look at this spike in new listings right here in 2022. Like you went from 950 new listings in a 4-week period to 1,362 new listings in a 4-week period. So I'm sure there were a lot of people that maybe bought a second home in Austin. That's what I assume. And thought again, trendy area. Hey, Airbnb, it's going to be, I'm going to charge $500 a night, and $500 times 365 days equals this amount of money. And look at that. I'm going to be a millionaire. However, you can't fill all the days usually. There's a lot of cost involved in it. And there's obviously a lot of competition. I'm not saying Airbnb is bad, by the way. I own Airbnbs and I love them, but I focus on boring, utilitarian areas, like where they need housing and it's not expensive. So mine are like, they average like $1,000 a month. They're not $500 a night. And that makes it so they're filled all the time. To me, that's where Airbnb shines, not trendy areas like Gatlinburg or, Austin or Nashville, where you're going to get slaughtered like this if, rates or the market changes. Anyway, pretty crazy about Austin. I think that's pretty neat. I mean, interesting to see. Not neat if you've lost that much equity, no doubt. Okay. Any other ones? The only thing critical is Redfin stock. Rip to those investor. I don't pay attention to Redfin stock. Is it really low? Has it dropped? I don't know. I don't honestly. I don't pay attention to Redfin stock. I do know some agents that work for Redfin. They like it. They tell me it's a great gig. Like they're I think they're more of like employees than independent agents, but Redfin seems to be, they seem to like the steady flow of leads, and it seems like they get good support, and I've had good experience working with their agents. So I've been working with one here recently, and they've been great to work with, and they seem like they enjoy their gig. So I don't know. I'm curious if Redfin stock is up or down. Any other markets? All right. Well, maybe I'll pick another one then. I just like looking at this stuff. Call me weird, whatever. You know what? Let's look at Seattle. See, you want to know what the housing nerd does on the weekends or like at night? If I'm sitting there watching like stupid bad B movies, I look at random cities and housing market data. New listings in Seattle, Washington, 7% increase year over year in Seattle. Okay. How about active listings? Active listings in Seattle, 27% growth year over year. Wow. A lot more active listings. A lot more. Pending sales. How are they doing? You're down 6.8% in pending sales. I'm wondering, has that? Yeah. A lot of other cities are like this. They have a lot more inventory than last year as far as percentages go, but it's not enough to cause any type of price catastrophe. I mean, you could, again, look, like I'll just take this. Let me take these away and look at this. I'm going to take 2025 away too. Look at just 2022 for a second in Seattle. Look at the median sale price, how it went up like this. It went up like exponentially. I mean, for the median sale price in an area like Seattle to go up from like what, 700,000 to 855. What's that? Three in 5 months. That's crazy. That was back in 2022, right? And now if we add in the other years, you can kind of see what happened after that. The median sale price went down, 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 down. And then now, when you look at it, 781 grand. So you're way off of peak. But last year, it looked like it actually did peak last year at 863. And every year seems to follow that hump, right? In Seattle, like right, I guess at the end of the winter, but it doesn't really get nice in Seattle until like September, October. That's when like the best months are, at least from my experience living there for a while. That seemed to be what happened. Wow. I would think Seattle would have more distress in prices, but it doesn't look like it does. I mean, I guess if you bought back in, if you bought back in 2022 and you sold in 2022 or 23, you probably felt some pain and equity loss. But if you held it to last year, you may not have. It's like the market rebounded. Wow. Still unaffordable though for a lot of people. 781 grand. Nuts. Redfin stock, $90, stock down to $8. Geez, that's a big drop. That's no good. Wow. 90% from its all-time high. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, they make their money on volume, right? I mean, the prices, I would guess like Redfin from a price standpoint doesn't care, but the volume is what's killing them because our volume in the US is really low, like ultra low. Like if we pull 4 million houses sold this year, it may be a tall order to get that many. I think we're on track right now, annualized, to get 4.2 million. But Redfin, I think, makes their money on transactions. The more transactions, the better. But right now, the transactions are really low. I would think Redfin's in the camp of saying if the prices drop, that's okay as long as transactions increase a lot. That's my guess. And that may be why their stock's so low is because there's no transactions. But thank you. I'm surprised you're surprised by this. This is a lagging indicator. Can you define this? Are you talking about Redfin stock? It was $98 from 2021. Now it's worth $8 to 2025. Right. Yeah, down a lot. But I'm not curious on this. I'm surprised you're surprised by this. This is a lagging indicator. I assume you're talking about Redfin stock. I'm not necessarily surprised by it. I guess it's just down a lot, and I just don't track Redfin stock, so I didn't know. Unless you're talking about Seattle or some other market, I don't know. XXX, triple X. Let's see. What do we got? Let me do another one here. Another city. You know what? I'm going to do one here that I saw in my data that I was scratching my head, and I can't figure this one out at all. This is Johnstown, PA. Oh, there's only 13 new listings. That's not going to give us what we need. That's not a good market to look at. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do Baltimore. Let's do Baltimore, Maryland. 640 new listings in Baltimore. That's up 3.6% year over year. Okay. Let's do active listings in Baltimore. How are they doing? Active listings in Baltimore. 4-year high, up 5%. There's a guy that I watch sometimes on YouTube, Todd Sachs. Seems like a good guy. But he's like in that doomer camp where he thinks everything is awful. Like everything in the market's bad. I'm not sure how he can do his job thinking it's always bad. Like he's like, everything's going to crumble. We're all doomed. But he's in the Baltimore area. He's only up 5% in inventory. And I remember him saying that, hey, inventory is skyrocketing here. Like we've got tons of distress. And so I'm trying to find out where that is in Baltimore. I don't see it in active listings. Let's look at pending sales. Maybe pending sales are just really low. They are low, down 11%, but your active listings haven't reflected that yet. Let's look at median sale price. Maybe it's really bad. No, it's not. All right, Todd, what are you talking about, man? $366,000 for Baltimore. Oops. $366,000 for Baltimore and oops. Let's see how they do. 411,000 last year was the peak, basically. They ended the year in Baltimore at 387. So I don't know. I don't see the crash in Baltimore yet. Maybe we will see it because of the layoffs. I don't know. Oh, okay. Here we go. Here's my answer. Your median sale price analysis is from years ago. Seattle market rebounded a year ago. Yeah. I just don't. I was just surprised that a lot of other markets where they had their peak like that, you didn't see them rebound necessarily to that level. But it looks like Seattle rebounded all the way. I guess that's what surprised me. Pricing random cities is not helpful. What is happening in the economy of a city affects its housing market? No, sure. I'm not tracking the economy in every market. I'm just looking at the housing market. That's kind of what the channel is about. But no, you're right. I mean, the economy in every city affects the housing market. That's what drives the market, right? Jobs, right? Cost of living, right? What's happening with taxes? Obviously, taxes, insurance are crazy. So all that plays into it. Triple X, no doubt. Justin, hey, when you can rewind the video later, or now or whenever, but I did the Columbus market earlier. That's the first one I did from Facebook. Thanks, Justin. I appreciate it. Coming on. And yeah, I did the Columbus market. I do it every Redfin update. I do a Redfin update every week. Either I usually don't do them live. I haven't done them live in a while. This is the first live in weeks, but I usually record them because of my schedule. But I do a Redfin update every week, and I always talk about Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and then whatever markets you guys request through the week. The other thing that I do is I do an Ohio only update every month as well on just the Ohio market, and I have that on my YouTube channel. So check that out, and I dive into like county by county data on Ohio. I escaped Baltimore in 1979. Haven't looked back since. Yeah, I mean Baltimore's a pretty cool city. I've been there many times for football games and work, and always enjoyed. Hey, Coors Light, how are you? How you doing? Good to see you on here. Haven't heard from you in a while. They probably want some taxes from me, Baltimore. That's funny. Yeah, check it out, Justin. Check out the Ohio updates. Awesome. Any other areas you want me to analyze? Anybody have one? And Coors Light, you're out in California, aren't you? If you're out in I think you are Coors Light. Let us know what's happening there with housing. You've seen a lot of distress, a lot of people selling, a lot of people buying. What's happening? Just looking through your comments real quick to see if there's any other ones. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, I don't see any other ones. Can we do? Oh, you want to do Las Vegas? Oops, I'm sorry. It's zip code. What? Let me go back to this one. It's zip code by zip code, Jason. Yeah, it is. I would even say it's even smaller than that. If that's what you're talking about. But unfortunately, I don't have that data zip code by zip code. I've got the county level, metro level. I have zip code level and neighborhood level with Columbus, but outside of that, very hard to get zip code level data, um, because it's MLS data usually is where you can find that. But we'll do Las Vegas. Let's do Vegas. And then if there's no other ones after that, I'll call it a show. Let's do new listings in Vegas. Down or up. New listings up 6.8% in Vegas. Okay. Look at the new listings back in 2022 though. 1,300. They were up 17% at that point. So I guess you do have some new listings, not a ton. Active listings in Vegas. Look at that. Up 28%. Okay. That's good. So some more active inventory out there for people to choose from. Can't beat that. How about days on market? I didn't look at this in a lot of other metros for time reasons, but 58 days on market. That's up 4.8 days. Homes are definitely sitting longer than last year. And the big one everyone wants to see is median sale price. What's that doing? 440 grand in Vegas. That's up 4% year over year. Last year, and you peaked, it looks like in 2022, by the way, 456. And then you ended the year 441 and now 440. But you are up right now 4% year over year in Vegas. So it doesn't look like the housing market has crashed there. I mean, you look at this chart compared to Austin, completely different, right? Austin, you can clearly see the price decline when inventory spiked. And I would think that's what a lot of people are kind of hoping for or want to see is a lot more inventory and then lower prices. But remember, we came from the basement of inventory. So it's going to take a while to build the inventory needed for any type of price correction, probably, unless there's some cataclysmic economic event, I assume. But right now, I'm just not seeing that overall in the US, not seeing a massive amount of inventory hit the street to cause any type of national price decline, on average or the median. So anyway, that's what I'm seeing in Vegas. But good one. I'm late to the party, but Detroit is finally seeing some price cuts. Oh, good. Yeah, I think you're buying in Detroit, right? If I remember right from my channel. Yeah, I did Detroit earlier in the show, but yeah, please go back and take a look at it because Detroit's an interesting market. Doesn't look like there's a lot of new listings there, if I remember right. Active listings are down. The price doesn't seem like it's dropped a ton in Detroit, but who knows if that'll start. But obviously, again, it's very, very localized, right? Like this metro data is helpful, but it's only helpful from like a overview standpoint. It's not something you can look at in the metro and go, oh, look at the price decline or look at the new listings. I'm going to go out and, I'm sure I'm going to find a deal. You're going to have to obviously look very locally down to the street level sometimes, subdivision, school district level, however you want to look at it. I wasn't knocking on your data analysis. I was just saying that some areas you almost need zip code data. Right. I get that. I know you weren't knocking it. Right. No, I've got thicker skin than that, man. But not a big deal. Yeah, you do. You need like zip code level data. To me, like where I am, the one of the best indicators or one of the best levels to look at data is school district level. Like if you can look at a school district, then drill down from there, that can really tell you what's happening because a lot of times people will buy because of a school district. And so, if you have one school district that's like top rated and next door a school district that's not, you could definitely see the price difference a lot of times just from the school district, at least in my experience. But zip code level's great, subdivision level's great. Um, Sometimes if you're in a big rural area, county level is okay sometimes. Township level is fine sometimes. All that, all that. Awesome. Well, listen, I'm going to get out of here. This was fantastic. I really appreciate your comments, your questions, all that stuff. Uh, and check out my YouTube channel if you're watching this on Facebook or you're new to my channel. I appreciate you coming on. And check it out. Check out the YouTube channel because there's a lot of people give great information on there about what's happening in their market. I love seeing that and very helpful information overall. So hopefully this live was beneficial and we'll do it again soon. I'm not sure I'll do another live next week, but I'll continue to make videos on YouTube and check those out. All right. I'm the housing nerd. I'm out of here. Have a good day, everybody.